flying all over the place like horrible meteors, and basically rock missiles coming at anybody that would have had the misfortune to get hit on that island. So again, we've mentioned that there were no bodies. So now I'd like to lead into some other topics that I'd like to explore in the next videos. And I have done a mini video on the sea peoples, which were basically sort of these marauders or pirates that had traveled and appear at that end of the late Bronze Age, 1175, 1200 period. So let's just explore that for a minute here. And essentially, there were groups of people. It was not one unified group. Like, it was not Pirates of the Caribbean or anything. They did not all belong to one ethnicity. They essentially, I think the reason I'm always bringing up that eruption at Thera and the destruction, did it lead to the downfall of the Minoans, is because even though it was hundreds of years from when that eruption happened, there are what I call prolonged effects, long-term effects. And I do but wonder whether or not that contributed. As well, I believe in the 1300 BC time frame, there was a bad sort of climate drought period where things just weren't growing. And I think that probably played a huge factor in that collapse of the late Bronze Age in the Mediterranean. So these sea peoples, we have different names. So there is the Paliset, basically known by archaeologists. They became the Philistines. They go to what is now Israel on the Levant, on the coast. So they settle, not necessarily all of them, but they do. And there was also a group, the Luca, which we believe are the Lycians. That is up in Western Anatolia, Turkey. And if you know your classical Greek, you've probably come across the Lycians and Lycia being mentioned. Alexander the Great took over the whole area in time. And that group is also mentioned. And there was the Shekelesh, and there's quite a few more groups. But these are just some. And if you're wondering, where do we get these names from? Ramses III had to deal with them and fought them in the Delta. And so he did this wonderful relief, this at Mednu Habu, the temple down in Luxor. And that is a very famous stele talking about the sea peoples. The first time it's you know, it's actually not the first time, but it's the major sort of artifact people look at in terms of evidence of who were these people migrating over, invading. And that is, they were all came by sea. So we know whether their background was they were sailors. But remember, back then, anybody who lived on the coast, including the Minoans, had a navy, had an ability to sail. And Lycia was well known for being very rough in terms of its coastal area with a lot of caves. So it was great for hiding. It was great for hiding your boats. It was great for, you were protected from